Good morning, group. I was having a conversation with somebody this morning, and we were talking about um, paperwork for private practice. Well, first of all, my quick tip here is if you are looking for paperwork for your private practice and you want something that's attorney reviewed, then check out your state organization, professional organization. I know in California we have CAMFT, and CAMFT offers sample forms for your private practice if you're a member, and they have their attorneys approve them, so review them. So if you are looking for private practice paperwork and you want it to be more attorney approved, then looking at your state organization is a great place to start. You can also purchase packages, but also keep in mind that these packages have been reviewed by attorneys maybe in a different state than yours. And so while they are going to be, sort of more legally sound, they are may be missing certain aspects of your state's requirements, and so that's something to keep in mind. That said, it's typically pretty easy to figure those out. I know like the Board of Behavioral Sciences in California has a statement that we are required to put on ours, and you can find that on their website if you know it's there, right? If you know to look for it. That's why I think looking to your state board or your state professional organization is a great way to cover your butt in that way. Now that said, this kind of led me into a conversation about this idea of risk tolerance and fear, and that I think particularly for those of us who are closer to grad school, or those of you who are closer to grad school and have come out of like the law and ethics classes and the law and ethics exam, there's a lot of fear produced there, and understandably so, because the courses are about the legal problems and legalities of this profession. And when I think about this, I think about risk tolerance, sort of the spectrum of risk tolerance, that some therapists are much more risk averse and some are much more risk friendly, so to speak, or willing to kind of be on the fringe of the risk level that they take in their practice. I know for my practice, I used the paperwork that was provided by my EHR with modifications based on the policies and the populations that I serve. That said, it's not attorney approved, and so there could be holes in it, and it's something that I currently feel okay about. There are portions of my paperwork that I did purchase from an attorney, and specifically like the court and legal proceedings portion of my paperwork is a section that I purchased from somebody. And so for me, that level of risk tolerance is okay with me. In terms of my intake paperwork, my clinical notes, things like that, I have kind of, based on what I've learned, modified them to a level that I am comfortable with, the level of like oversight or like legalities attached to them. So my risk tolerance level tends to be medium. I tend to be willing to push the edges in certain areas, and I know where I don't. So when you're thinking about setting up your practice and you're experiencing maybe some anxiety or fear around certain aspects that are related to like the legalities of the practice, I would like assess for yourself, like what part of that is fearful, like what are you afraid of, and how, like, one, reasonable is that fear, how much do you want to invest in protecting against that fear, so either your time, research, or money purchasing things that are pre-created for you, because there's going to be a certain level of like, okay, if I'm worried about this, then what do I need to invest in, either time or money, in order to address that fear or that concern. And so again, this can be a spectrum, right? And having a general understanding of like what that risk tolerance spectrum, where you fall on the risk tolerance spectrum, is really helpful in terms of addressing the fear and not letting that fear hold you back, because then you can start planning for how to get around that fear, how to move through and past that fear. And then the other piece of this is that your risk tolerance might be different in different areas of your practice. There are certain areas of my practice where I don't touch risk. And there are other areas of my practice where I'm willing to like bend a little bit and flex a little bit and push the edges and be a little bit more fringe than others. And you probably have those different areas yourself. And so looking at like what is my risk tolerance level and what protections do I want within these different areas can help abate some of that fear and get you unstuck from whatever you're working on. So that is my quick tip for today. I hope you have a wonderful Friday and have a great weekend, everyone. Bye.